Hello friends, my channel is often criticized for having too much negativity. Yes, unfortunately that's true, I agree. But in this episode there will be only good and inspiring news from sunny Poland. We'll discuss everything now. We have 5 news stories. Please leave a like to support aerodynamics, hit the bell, and subscribe right now. Huge thanks to everyone who doesn't mind. These simple actions take just 2 seconds now. Let's get to the point. The first story. Fresh news from Bydgoszcz. The head of the Polish cabinet, the legendary Donald Tusk, decided to play the role of a marketer and recorded an energetic video right at the aircraft factory. The occasion is significant. The Polish State Arms Group has signed an agreement with the Americans to produce Barracuda 500M unmanned cruise missiles. But interestingly, instead of having a serious conversation about the issue, Mr. Prime Minister couldn't resist and delved into pop culture metaphysics. Since the American company is called Anduril, for those who don't know, is a legendary sword from the Lord of the Rings. Tusk immediately gave a soundbite for social media and said that he had bad news for Mordor, and Sauron in the east clearly wouldn't be happy. Well, it's good news for Poland's defense capability, but if we set aside this elvish bravado and turn on some skepticism, what do we have? We're being promised assembly and then production of up to 3,000 of these missiles a year. Range up to 900 kilometers, launchable from the ground and from the air. The range sounds formidable. In official releases, to put it bluntly, the experience of recent years has shown that it's not unique, expensive superweapons that fight wars, but a massive, cheap flow of deadly hardware. That's why Americans are relocating production closer to borders and keeping Polish factories busy. From a PR perspective, it's a smart move. The average person is satisfied, and the light versus darkies metaphor works perfectly. But the laws of life are harsh. Beautiful fairy tales about swords and orcs end where the supply of parts begins, where real budget spending starts, and where questions arise about who will actually profit from this cheap and fast project. Well, we'll see. Nevertheless, I repeat, this news is good for Poland's defense capability. Next we move to Zielona Góra. There is a body of water there called Dzika Ochla. Let's talk a little about the value of human life. As I already said, the next story takes us to Zielona Góra. And fellow citizens, dear friends, this story is exemplary. On one hand, because of its foolishness, and on the other, because of its humanity. A hot weekend, signs saying no swimming are hanging on every pole, and the police report daily patrols. But for our dear Poles, none of this seems to matter. One such character took a running start and dove headfirst off the bridge. The outcome is predictable. Spinal fracture, he's paralyzed, can't swim out, screaming and drowning. That's when things get really interesting. The victim's fellow countrymen, as eyewitnesses write, were sitting on the shore and enthusiastically filming the spectacle on their phones. 2 ordinary guys, horror of horrors, they were Ukrainians, were relaxing nearby, and without hesitation they rushed into the water, grabbed an inflatable mattress, swam over, secured the poor guy so he wouldn't drown, and carefully brought him to shore. The guys stayed with him, kept talking, and made sure he stayed conscious until the ambulance arrived. The ambulance took the jumper to the hospital. He'll live. What's remarkable, dear friends, is that against the backdrop of all these endless statements, honestly, I'm already fed up with them, and this stream just doesn't stop. Angry articles about the refugee problem. Oh, Ukrainians, oh my God. Official Polish media usually carefully omitted the detail about who exactly saved the person. Oh Lord, 2 men saved someone, so what? The story only came out because one of the rescuers later talked about it on social media. That's how life is sometimes. Everyone's a patriot online, but when it comes down to it, the ones who save the day are the ones you least expect. Good job, guys, no question about it. I give them a big thumbs up. Guys, if you're watching, subscribe too. You have my respect. Next, let's talk a bit about taxis. About taxis, well, not about the taxi driver I usually ride with, the one who acts all smart. No, I mean how a taxi ride can ruin your career. An example of how everyday arrogance, noble pride can instantly destroy any political career. Well, maybe not any. There's this guy, Piotr Matan. He's actually a deputy, a district councillor from the ruling Civic Coalition, but also at the same time an authorized representative of the regional governor. He was, keyword was. This man was in a taxi when, horror of horrors, the driver turned out to be Ukrainian. What exactly they disagreed about? Well, history keeps silent about that. But Mr. Politician decided to turn on the good old big boss mode, started throwing around threats, flashing his credentials, and delivered the classic immortal phrase, "Do you know who I am?" And the driver, well, recorded the whole thing on video, this entire performance, and posted it online. And that's it, the show's over. The wheels of public opinion started turning pretty quickly. Well, maybe not public opinion, but definitely within the system. But even this Mr. Matan didn't have time to say a word. The regional governor excused the tautology, immediately removed him from his position. After that, he was kicked out of his job as a parliamentary assistant, and to top it off, his party membership was frozen too. It's nothing serious, I think it's fine. Maybe he'll work and issue residence cards faster now. Mr. Peter Matan himself, of course, promises to release an official statement and present his one and only true version. Damn, you all got it wrong. This Ukrainian guy, actually, they're all bad. Look, I know how it really was, I'll tell you the truth, but as they say, it's too late to fix it now. The voivodeship authorities said the dismissal is needed to maintain trust in state institutions. To put it simply, the party bosses don't need a toxic troublemaker around before the elections, so they got rid of him without the slightest regret. Always buckle up in a taxi and act decently, regardless of your credentials. Write in the comments if I'm wrong and all taxi drivers are bad. I've never had any issues with taxi drivers. No, that's because I'm a big guy. If it had been some Ukrainian girl, it might have gone differently. But that's not important now. Let's focus on the positives. We have news for you today, friends. Childbirth on sale. The hotel business is trying to boost the birth rate. A moment of extremely original marketing from the world of Polish capitalism. The Archie hotel chain decided to tackle the demographic crisis with an unconventional method. They launched a bonus program for conceiving children during a stay. The rules are simple. You stay at the hotel, relax, and if a little one is born within 300 days after your stay, come back for a gift. And now, the first results are in. 2 families officially confirmed, yes, we checked the calendar, everything matched up for us, and they collected their prizes. Well, friends, I actually think the prizes are pretty good. It's a voucher for 5,000 zlotys and a completely free banquet in honor of a christening or birthday. There's also a consolation prize for the other participants. They'll cover a family celebration worth 1,000 zlotys. Moreover, for its employees, the company has introduced even more interesting conditions. For the birth of a child, they give 10,000 zlotys. 39 employees have already received this bonus. In the hotel industry itself, of course, such news caused quite a stir. Colleagues in the field are saying, come on guys, this is just a stunt, a provocation. This damages the reputation of serious business, but I think it's good. Vladislav Grokovsky, the chain's founder, did the right thing and ignores complaints. He says applications are coming in, PR works, and hotels are filling up, even if the method is unconventional. But against the backdrop of the overall depressing birth rate statistics, at least there's some lively activity. We'll be watching to see how many promotional babies are born. Yes, friends, comment how many school kids are in your family. I'll be happy for you and give a like. So we have one more piece of news, friends, a miracle in Bialystok. It really happened. Let's finish with a real big miracle that was performed by the doctors from the University Clinical Hospital in the city of Bialystok. There, for the first time in history, doctors connected a hybrid. Let me read it to you as I'm not strong in medicine. A hybrid insulin pump to a newborn baby who weighed only 700 grams. Little Zosia was born at the 25th week of pregnancy, a tiny baby, and from the very first minutes there were a lot of complications. The main problem was that her blood sugar was so high that regular insulin IV drips just couldn't handle it. Her body wasn't really responding and the situation was critical, so the doctors took a huge risk. They decided to put in a pump that measures glucose levels on its own and administers insulin in microdoses automatically. The problem is that these devices are designed for children who weigh at least 1.5 kilograms, but the girl simply didn't have any fat tissue. There was just nowhere to attach the sensors and needles. Still, it was a very delicate job. For a month, the pump worked instead of her pancreas. The doses were reduced by milligrams, and thank God, victory, the girl's body started working. Her pancreas began functioning on its own. Now, Zosia already weighs a healthy 2 kilograms. That's great. And she no longer needs the pump. The medical press worldwide is now writing about this case. So, the Bialystok doctors have created a real precedent. This, I believe, is real work, a true feat. No jokes, no wisecracks. Girls, we wish you good health. Big thumbs up to the medical staff. Huge thanks for this kind of work. Yes, friends, that's the news. I hope you found it interesting. If someone watched until this point, write to me. Dennis, I watched until the end from Scalea, from Stockholm. Where are you watching my videos from? Thank you so much. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. Stay healthy. God bless you. See you next time.